Hey, true believers. Hope everybody's Sunday afternoon is going well. Before we get into today's comic, I wanted to make another announcement. So Saturday evening, me and some club members got together, and we kind of weeded through the information about what's going on with YouTube, and we found that there was a lot of misinformation going around. So with that said, without going into the specifics, I just want to say that we will continue to be uploading to YouTube as well as our other social media platforms. So with that announcement out of the way, this is Marvel Presents number 76. And if you're looking for a comic book that is just straight up mad scientist and like horrific kind of a operation type story, this book is right up your alley. But before I get into explaining what this cover means and what we're talking about, let's give credit where credit is due. So again, as I said, this is Marvel Comics Presents number 76. We are on Chapter 4 of Weapon X. And it says, Experiment X picks up the pace as Logan manifests his claws. Story and art by Barry Windsor-Smith. The letterer is Jim Novak with Barry Windsor-Smith. And then I really appreciate how this comic book starts out. It says, create a monster, terrible knives, mutant, beast, once a man, but scorned to the bone, claws, still human, mindless, reconstructed, murdering, trained, animal. And then we see Cornelius here, and he goes, operant conditioning of Mr. Logan, then can't be counted on in his reformed state. His brutish impulses being greatly exaggerated since the adamantium bonding. The professor says, and this will correct that situation, And you just look down and you see Logan in this, he is more machine than man at this point, because that's just terrifying to look at. And this is just the opening page, and your mind's just sensory overload of pain and torment. That's why I said in the last few reviews that this is very much a horror comic, because you can just see the elements that Windsor-Smith implements. So anyway, Professor is pushing for control, and Cornelius says no, hardly. But it should give us a real knowledge of Logan's stress dynamics since his operation. And he says, the professor says, I hope this isn't a waste of my time, Dr. Cornelius. We should have begun reorientation by now. What's the point of this weapon if we can't control him? And so Cornelius tells the professor to take this headset, and basically it's like a direct link into Logan's mind where the professor can speak to him. And he goes, control him. And Cornelius says, suggest, perhaps. Control, I don't know. And he says, and this is important, keep this in mind. What you'll see on the big screen will be in direct relation to your spoken word. And the first thing out of the professor's mouth, Logan, you're in control, Logan. And Cornelius is just kind of, yeah, like that. But you shouldn't use his former name, sir. We're trying to eradicate that stuff. So right here you kind of get into, there's a very interesting psychological juxtaposition here, because they're trying to get rid of the self. They're trying to eradicate the id. And you just see this glimmer in Cornelius' eye where he says, yes, quite so. And so while they're sitting there, while Cornelius and Hines are trying to work on him, you start saying, you are a beast. You are an animal born to serve. You have one master, and it's me. You will do anything I say. And Cornelius goes, Professor? Yes, what? We haven't begun yet, sir. The machine isn't on. And so there's kind of this pause, and Cornelius is looking at him like, oh boy. And so the professor's just like, then please get on with it, doctor. And so that's what I meant by the juxtaposition of the psychosis here, because and Logan, they're trying to eradicate the id, the self. While right here, the professor's superego is on full display, and how corrupted it is. Because you can just see he has this sense of, I am your master. Like, he thinks he's his own personal messiah. And then what happens next is you see this alarm go off, and they're like, overload. Hines, do something. I'm trying. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this review, and I am getting invaded by a puppy dog for attention, so I apologize if my voice breaks, but she won't leave me alone, so I gotta make sure she gets attention. But anyway, back to the horror, minus after talking about puppy dogs. Cornelius goes, Hines, do something. And she's like, trying. There. And what we see here is a reoccurring of the dagger claws from Logan's prophetic dream in the Prophecy Hotel. And like, what is that? What was that? What's on the screen? We're getting some sort of internal feedback, sir. The image is so powerful. It's burning circuits. And then you just start to see words like pain. Oh. And they're trying to shut it down. And then you just get this graphical representation of Logan as a monster. And he's like, hurting, pain. And then you get this image like you would see like on a Guns N' Roses or a Slayer cover, and he goes, what have you done to me? And like, this is unbelievable. And they can't shut it down because Logan's mind is basically taking over the computer and showing this stuff in the monitor. And right here, they're all freaking out. But then the professor again gets that twinkle in his eye. And he goes, leave that girl, you animal. This is your master. You are a beast in my control. And then Logan wakes up. So as you're seeing him waking up here, you see the monster here looking at him through the monitor. And he's like, you have no will but to serve me. Stay back. And then the security team comes in and puts him back under. And the professor freaks out. And he goes, kill him. We must kill Logan now. Give me that gun. Can't let you do that, sir. Professor, calm down. It's like, that beast tried to kill me, didn't you see? But you're just in a state of shock right now. That's all. Guard, get some medical staff in here. And you start seeing Logan's claws retract back into his hand. And Cornelius kind of trying to keep, level heads abound here. He goes, that's some sort of impulse. A reflex. And then Hines goes, oh God, look at the screen. And just for those of you viewing, this next panel is a little graphic, so just heads up. And you see what's in Logan's mind. This is what he thinks of his master, who's telling him he's a beast with no will of his own. And Cornelius goes, well, I guess we've all had enough for today. Turn off the monitors, Ms. Hines. And just the professor just doesn't, he's shell-shocked. He's just like, this is what my weapon thinks of me? So yeah, guys, this, as I said, this slow burn of this book continues. And that's what I meant by I wanted to explain what this cover is, because there's a scene where you think when Logan wakes up, he grabs Hines' neck like you see here. And and you come to find out that that's all in Logan's mind. So we shift from reality to Logan's mind back into reality. And it just shows how Logan feels towards his tormentors, specifically the professor, because the professor says, leave that girl alone, you're under my control. He flings Hines out of the way and wants to go for the professor. And again, This is such a great horror story with our favorite X-Men character, because the images are quite brutal to look at, even though they're so well rendered by Barry Windsor-Smith. So yeah, issue 76 continues to impress and just slowly build the tension that is going to eventually explode. So that's what I love about this book, is it, again, leaves you wanting more. I wanted to just immediately just slap issue 77 right here and go through it. But, as I said a couple of reviews ago, leave them wanting more. So, with that said, if you guys have enjoyed this comic book, this review, or both, please make sure to follow us on our social media pages. I'll leave the links down in the description below. Also, like, share, and subscribe. That way, when you share the video, you can get your friends excited about reading as well, because that's what the club is about, is enjoying reading for literacy's sake. Lastly, if you guys have enjoyed this comic, please make sure to go support your local comic shop and pick up a copy or the collected trade. It will definitely be worth your time, guys, because this is one of those definitive Wolverine stories that you want in your collection. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have a great Sunday, and I'll check y'all on the next review. Thank you so much for stopping by.